All right, look at that. It says that it's 4:01. I believe this might be one of my most timely scheduled group
It's
streams.
because a German is involved.
Okay. You know what? I'll give that to you. I'll give that to you. You did ask that we meet 30 minutes before for a technical check, and you messaged me exactly 30 minutes before.
The robot man.
Yes, the robot man. And you're doing this with a giant time difference, too. So it's even more impressive. I mean, you probably had to calculate the time in like kilograms or something like that, right? Like, that's how it works. So, I don't
Yeah.
know. All right. Well, everyone, hello, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome. This is going to be a very cool stream. We don't have his face, but we do have a live feed. Right, what you're seeing on the screen right now is live from Robot Man himself. You can see it's moving. That's from the robot that he constructed.
That's from the robot. Yeah.
Yes, yes. How much did you say it weighed again?
40 kilos, so 90 pounds. I had to convert that. I
Yeah,
always thought
appreciate that.
pounds were like double, but actually they're not.
No, it's never that exact. All I know is all of our measurements
But
are wrong.
I know a quart is a liter, pretty much, exactly.
I'm
I
gonna have to
think.
take your word for that one, man. I just recently like because
No, don't. Really,
no
don't.
no I you already hey you're the one
You
saying oh the
shouldn't.
Germans involved. Now I can't trust you. Yo, Branton, how's it going? Armadillo, Steve Adams, SVC, of course, Jody P.
Steve, yeah, Steve's my man.
What's up, Steve? You can you vouch for his
I
conversion?
can vouch for Steve.
Okay, okay,
I can vouch for Steve. I don't know if he can. He lives in Canada, so he might be exactly the man we need
okay.
to
Oh, I
convert
mean
this stuff.
that actually would probably work. Oh, Branton says he's German to represent. All right.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Yeah.
well, this is something that I'm excited about. I've been wanting to do this stream for a long time. We pushed the date.
We've been wanting to do this for a while now. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We pushed the date back
both.
several times, and I was like, I'm not missing it today. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to people who aren't familiar?
Okay. Well, I'm Matt. Hi.
Oh, Matt.
I'm psyched to be here. I've got a YouTube channel called Let's Scope It Out. A horrible name, I know, but as of yet, I haven't come up with anything better. And the channel is focused around using my robot, basically. So I don't want to give you the long version.
I mean,
Short version maybe is I fell down a microscopy rabbit hole. I discovered a way to do what I'm doing here, and I knew that I had to build a machine to achieve it, and so I did it. And yeah, yeah.
so like, did you
That's about
already
it.
like? I'm right now. I'm watching. You said it's a 90 pound, 40 kilogram. Yo, Steve said I always encourage the long versions. Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Well, Steve does know the long version already, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well. Oh,
I
look.
assume.
There's a is that an isopod right there that I'm seeing?
It is, yeah. The lighting is kind of suboptimal,
No,
but there's
it's
ice pod.
dramatic. It's dramatic. And
It's
look at all
dramatic.
the Daphnia right
Oh
there.
my God! Look at the isopod.
Look at that. So, did you already
Okay,
have the
but I know why I'm
skills
kind of confused. It's no,
like to
exactly.
build this
I
90
didn't have
pound
this.
machine?
I learned some soldering in school, like 15 years prior to
Okay,
building this
what
thing.
school is this? I don't know how your school works. I was homeschooled here, so
It
I'm
was like a technical school for engineering. So I am an engineer, but I never did any electronics projects or anything. And in my soldering class, I really learned only soldering because our teacher asked asked us if any of us wanted to go into this later, like career-wise.
Right.
And we all being between 16 and 20, well, we were smart enough to say, no, of course not.
Right.
So he just put up the plan on the projector in front, and we mindlessly copied it without understanding why the LED was flashing or
So
whatever.
you knew how to connect the wires, but you just had no idea what was going on beyond
Yeah,
that.
I knew how that a line on the plan represented a wire in real life.
So
That's my that was my knowledge.
how do you get from soldering to isopods? Like, does the isopods come in at some point in school and you're like, hold up, and it's like a Spider-Man thing? You've now
Nah,
invented this
the
this new
isopods came in
technology.
through. Well, I always loved observing nature. I kind of was a avid bird photographer for a long while before starting with microscopy.
Okay.
But bird photography is something where you sit in a hide for long periods of time, no action at all. It's a patience game, really. And like microscopy is also kind of a patience game, but uh, but you can do it at home at your
Yeah.
desk,
I
24 hours a day if you are so inclined. So
and
it's
it just
independent from
keeps
the weather
going.
and the lighting conditions outside, and you can observe these miniature universes. Just go to a pond and get a small sample, and that really that really sucked me in, and it really fascinated me, all the different life forms you can observe there, and it's so interesting. All the like, it's
Right
not
now, I
just
mean, right,
arthropods,
it's
it's
like right now I'm
really
seeing like
diverse. It's
five different things like going all over the place. Like, you
Yeah, but
know,
those are all arthropods. There are no worms, no flatworms, no hydra. There's like evolutionary speaking, they are really far apart. All the small critters you can, or some of the small critters you see in pond water are really very, very far apart on the evolutionary tree,
hmm.
so to speak.
Well,
And
just you
that's
saying that is one thing I wanted to bring up, and one reason that I was excited is just like you have such a better understanding of like the science part of these kind of things than I do, and I've appreciated being able to ask you like about biology and things like that. And was that something that also you had to learn, or did you already do that like with birds to such a
we had
detailed degree?
some kind of no, I had the education for plants because I studied horticulture.
Okay.
So I'm a horticultural engineer. I always like had an affinity for nature as well as biology.
Wow.
But I preferred plants for the longest time, and then I went on to birds because it's the most visible animal out in the wild, except for small stuff.
Right.
I don't know, macro photography never really kicked off for me until I went into the aquatic stuff because I don't know, the aquatic critters, they are so well contained in their little tank, they don't crawl over they don't escape their tank and go
I'm
foraging in the fridge or, or wherever.
I'd be terrified
They're
if the
they're
things
very
I'm sawing right now were escaping.
well, you probably wouldn't even notice them because they're so tiny, but um yeah, I mean I really got into the microscopy part of it, and for microscopy, I always brought home samples in a bigger jar, so like maximum a quart, more like a quarter of a quart. What's
Okay.
that? A 16th?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Um, and most of the time, oh man, I'm really confused because Discord is like mirroring my video feed, so
Oh, you're
how
having
do
to
I
do the
go around that?
directions, because I forget you're
Yeah,
controlling it
no,
like manually right now. Like you're moving around the
it's
camera.
manually and live, so it's like flying a drone
Wow.
whilst chatting with you. It's well, if I
I'm
if I
impressed. I'm
put the
impressed.
remote aside, it won't crash. But It could.
It could. Christopher
It could
Junkin said,
crash.
I have had aquatic isopods for 2 years now. I've had them in most of my killifish tanks. Very nice. Very
Yeah, I
nice.
think it's a perfect addition to any aquarium, really.
Mm. Trippy Hippie
Yeah,
said,
but coming from the microscopy, my entryway into this was microscopy. So I worked with a compound microscope, and I kind of have had a rough understanding of how the light travels through a compound microscope, and I kind of try to copy that as well in this machine.
hmm.
So we have a backlight here. I don't have a polarizer in right now. But maybe I'll do that later with
That's great. So
one
the so
of
the,
the
the
other
backlight
species.
is part of this contraption that you've made. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's so cool. So what species of
Uh,
isopod are we looking at?
so yeah, this is the first of three that I'm going to be able to show tonight, and this is Asellus coxalis, I think. Could be Meridianus, but it's definitely Asellus.
Does it have the
And the distinction.
Go ahead.
So this is a species that in Northern Europe it is not native in Northern Europe. It came from the Mediterranean basin. Both of the Proasellus species that occur in surface waters, I have to say, because there are some cave-dwelling species that have been in Northern Europe for longer. But this one only arrived, I don't know when, a few decades or ago, I assume.
Remember
And
like it was
it's
yesterday.
really similar to Asellus Aquaticus, so the only one that's native to Northern Europe in
Wow.
surface waters again.
So there really is only one native to Europe in the surface waters, the Asellus Aquaticus?
As far as I know, yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's debated if Asellus aquaticus is really one species or it's like a cryptic complex of different species that are so similar that they are virtually identical. I don't know. It's like splitting,
Great.
biologists and taxonomists, they don't. eh, Once they have everything named and described, they still need to do something. So they argue over this stuff. That's my impression at
I
least.
could see it. So if there's an invasive isopod species, like I feel like we're used to invasive
We're gonna look at
species.
one later.
Okay, I'm used to like invasive species like being like a bad thing. Like, do they damage the environment? But
Well, it's a good question. I can tell you really. Usually some damage the environment, some just replace native species, outcompete them, so they don't damage the environment per se, but they replace one species, which of course suffers, but all the other species they they just eat the invasive one instead of the native one,
right.
if the native one isn't there anymore.
So it's not like the killer
And
shrimp.
no, it's not like the killer shrimp. Exactly.
I love right
But
now.
the main criteria how to tell these apart from Asellus aquaticus is that they have somewhat shorter main antennae. Speaking of, we'll do a short anatomy excursion in a little bit.
Perfect.
But mainly they have where Asellus aquaticus has two brighter or light-colored spots on the back of the head. Proasellus has a band that goes across the whole head, so there's no separation between these brighter spots.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to see, unfortunately. So
I do feel like at least between like
with the
Asellus and Lursius and stuff, the only things that I can comprehend is like, yeah, the antenna length and like if the legs or the front claws are obvious, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Lursius with the claws is really
Yeah. Although if we get the one species of
fairly
Lursius
obvious.
on camera here, they don't really have they have the pointy front claws. They don't have the big chompers, which is kind of interesting. So,
Okay. So here I think a male has found a female and is kind of
wow.
assessing if she's ready to breed.
Let me see if I can zoom it in here.
We can even see we could see the marsupium for
Yeah,
a
I see.
very small moment there
It's hanging down.
on the small one.
Yeah.
It's
The one on
empty.
top, right?
Yeah. Kind of a transparent belly.
So
So that's a pouch where they breed their young. But let's do the anatomy anatomy quiz.
okay, okay. Let's do the anatomy. Let me pull up the chart because this is something that I need personally. And I feel like everyone
I don't think I
else.
can teach you a whole lot.
No, bro, I don't even know how to say most of these words. So if you can even pronounce anything halfway
Well, yeah,
convincingly,
let the German pronounce Latin words in English
I mean,
spelling. So
you speak more than one language, don't you?
yeah,
So see,
barely.
you have more experience than me. I only speak one language, so I feel like you're more qualified still. But all right,
Okay.
I got on the screen. I just
Let
put it
me
on
let me.
from the one
Ah,
study, the
there it
side
is.
view. Yes, the side view. Unless you want the other one.
No, I'm trying to watch this on YouTube so I can see what you're showing.
Page
But I'm
9
still
of
like,
Special Publication 19.
ah, that one. Okay.
Yes, and I'll
So
put the link to this in the
there it
chat
is. Okay.
if you guys want to look at it.
All right. So, well, I don't have to really talk a whole lot. Just look at it and read the names.
No.
They have big antennae and small antennae. And when I speak of antenna or antennae, I usually speak of the big ones
Okay.
because the small ones aren't, well,
The,
technically I think they're called antennulae,
so which
but
ones
I'm
are
not sure.
the small ones? The like the second
In this
pair at the
graph, they
front?
almost aren't visible. It's pointing down, like
Ah,
underneath the word head.
antenna 1.
There's a small antenna pointing down. Yeah, antenna
Okay,
one.
okay, okay.
And
Antenna
antenna
1.
two is the big one.
Okay.
So what is important for us today is the antennae, the periopod one, so the gnathopod, the claws, because they're really different in some species. Also the butt, so the pleotelson, the big shield that they have on the posterior end of the body,
Okay.
and the uropods, which is technically, I think it's only the basal limb of the what do you call it? Protrusion? Protrusion? Well, here it's marked uropod, right at
Mm,
the
mm.
end of the body,
All right, because this
and you
is at a
can,
endopod, like another part of it. I'll make this even
yeah,
bigger.
right. Yeah, there's a uropod and the endopod and the exopod. And the endopod is the one on the inside, and the exopod is the one on the outside. I I
So
think.
I'm not the only one putting pod on everything. Then this one, everything is pod here. This is
Yeah,
really
you can. It works. It usually works.
so why is I didn't realize. So I guess the isopods they have what 7 sets of legs of
They
pteropods.
have 7 sets of true walking legs, with the gnathopod being included. So
So
the
yeah, that's why I was confused because I was trying to
first pair of
count
walking legs.
legs on one. I was like, wait, but I'd have to count the gnathopod. Why do they have the gnathopod also as a parapod? Like, is it still a leg or
I think the gnathopod is technically just the claw itself, so the two limbs that are at the end of the foot,
mm, okay,
like the
okay.
palm and the finger,
So
if you will.
the end of the other
But I'm
legs
not sure.
has
I'm
no
not
name.
sure.
That would make sense, actually. Okay. So,
Steve says apparently Asellus Aquaticus is native to North America and Europe. I thought it was invasive. Asellus hilgendorfii, on the other hand, seems to be making it out of eastern waterways in Western Europe and North America. Yeah, it's kind of a complex
yeah,
topic because these guys are so similar that you need really specially trained people to tell them apart. And if you want to tell them apart, you have to kill them and put them under a microscope to count the hairs on their hands and claws and
that's
stuff like that.
ridiculous.
So
My understanding is that Asellus is like endemic to over there. Um, I think
you always said endemic to the UK.
yes.
Do you remember where
I
you got
believe
that from?
it was one of the papers around here. But everything I've read is it said that it's not native to here. Um, and I have yet to really see something that looks like Asellus Aquaticus over here, because I know I send you pictures of like isopods people sell around here, and I think both of us, we haven't seen one that looks Asellus Aquaticus-y yet. Um, I would
Well, the
love
Phillips Fishworks pods do
those.
look kind of similar.
Yes,
So very,
and another thing that makes it
to be
hard
honest,
to distinguish is we did have Asellus over here as a family, but then they changed it. So if
yeah. So it's Kekaidotia right now,
yes,
right? That's
see,
the one.
I've been
No,
saying
but they
Cesadoda.
had some other thing, no?
Well, now it's
I say
It's Kana.
Kekaidotia because there's another genus in marine water that's called Idotia.
Uh, no, I believe they now made it from what you just said to Conocellus. I believe is what
Yeah, Carnocellus.
they just
That's the
changed
one
it
I was
actually.
thinking of.
So
So this stuff isn't set in stone. It's constantly being worked on, and yeah, everything we say tonight about species. You can see the bright band on the head
oh,
there, kind of.
let me
That
move
was
this.
kind of visible for a second.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the anatomy, I think we're good on that, are we?
Yeah, I mean,
One more thing we could mention is that the middle pair of legs, the first three, including the gnatopod, so periopod number 4, with 3 pairs before and 3 pairs behind it.
okay.
In Asellus Aquaticus, I find it to be a good distinguishing criteria for gender, because in the males it's really curved to match the silhouette of the shape of the female carapace. But we can get into that later.
Well, you did say to start the ones important to us. I think you said was the pleotelson, the antenna, and the nathopod. So where were you going with
Yeah,
that?
that's the main, and the Europods. The
The
Europods are
Europods.
also
Those just like the most
visibly
accessible.
different.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say, curiously, isn't to say that experts use this criteria to distinguish them, because, like, the British Isopod and Myriapod Society states that the gnatopod is the thing to look at.
Yes. Yes.
And other papers mention that the gnatopod can be really variable in shape depending on nutrient availability and stuff like that. So
Really? What?
it's tricky.
See, every time this is like impossible. Like, how am I supposed to identify something if the main body part changes by diet? Like, that is frustrating. I mean, at least it helps that you only have
It
three
is. It's
species over
really.
there.
So they mention that there are individuals that have I don't know what they call it. I don't remember. Been a few months. But
Well,
they mentioned that malnourished, I think it was malnourishment, can lead to like adults not developing certain traits like big claws.
All right, so I need to make sure I have enough leaves in there. So
So, anyways,
I scrolled down to the top, like the view. This is supposed to be the head. If you had anything to say there,
the head.
the medial carina, the lateral incision.
Yeah, that's the one you're always talking about. That
Well, that's how
your
they.
OG
Yeah,
pods
yeah. Well, that's how
have
they
that, right?
determine. Yeah, they determine the It's supposed to determine between like the Conocellus and the Lurcius. It's supposed to be like the head shape. And my pods
Oh,
have this
really?
little mandibular lobe that I haven't really seen in other isopods the same yet, in person at least.
Okay. Well, I don't know if these ones have this. Uh, they they probably don't then.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. Christopher Duncan said, "Not gonna lie, I don't know what species I have. I just bought them as freshwater isopods. They seem to do well in both heated and unheated tanks." Yes.
Lucky guy.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. In my
think that's
tanks, are you over in Let's Scope Discord? No, I'm not. I need to get in there. What the heck, man? You never invited me.
no. I know you have your own Discord,
What?
and I'm more active in your Discord than I am in my Discord. So
You post you
at
post a
least,
message and they're like, "What's a month?"
yeah.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I was away working, you know. I couldn't, and since
Okay,
I've been coming back, I've really been occupied
I feel
by
you.
the new camera and stuff. So,
Well, we got a close up
oh man,
of
the directions
Pteropod
just
one,
drawing me up.
which is the Nathopod that you mentioned, is the thing to look at. Unless your isopods have a nutritional malnourishment, then maybe not.
Right, and that is Lursius malabadi.
Yeah, man. See,
Malabadi.
we got a few different species.
Okay. Yeah, I know. You've got tons of species.
Should I put my isopods up while you talk? While we talk about the Lursius Nathopod.
I was just gonna maybe summarize the key differences from the Proasellus to Asellus Aquaticus, and then I would suggest we move on to
All right.
the next. So in short, they are smaller than Asellus Aquaticus, so they're only 10 to 15 millimeters, where Asellus Aquaticus gets to 20, especially males. Then the headband and the shorter antennae. That's the main differences. They do have kind of a more slender silhouette for the body itself, excluding the legs. But otherwise, they are really hard to tell apart. In fact, I have kept these guys for a long time before I realized it could be something else than Asellus aquaticus. But then I noticed that they have the headband and stuff. So, yeah, shame on me.
Oh, how could you?
But yeah, I don't know if it makes a big difference. That's the other thing, right?
I can't get over
Okay,
the
so
legs on
yeah,
these guys. They're so hairy.
they're leggy and hairy.
Just how I like my pods.
Yeah, I would love to get some American pods
All right,
on my
all right,
robot,
all right.
but because I think the backlight is accentuating the hairs.
It's a cool effect,
You
though.
know, that it makes it more visible. Well, I use it because some of the guys almost wouldn't be visible at all, like the single cell stuff and coma shaped guys on the leaves.
I'm trying. What is that? The little.
Ah, you mean the copepods?
There's like a little spider thing in the middle there, on that like leaf. It's like crawling. It's not swimming. It's hard to see. It's just like a bump. Yeah, it's in the. It's in the middle of the screen right
The one
now.
that fell down right now?
No, it's still there. It's just out of focus.
In the middle of the screen?
Yeah. Wait.
Wait a sec. I can see anything in the middle of the screen. I have to pull
It's
this
this little
bigger.
out of focus bump right now. I swear, it looked
Well,
like a
if it's
little
really
spider.
spider-looking thing, is usually a water mite. Ah, this guy.
Yeah, there you go.
The dark spot that's on the lower edge of the leaf.
Yes. What is that?
That's a hydracnid. So a water mite.
Wow.
And this is one of the larval stages, I would assume. I haven't, like, for water mites, it's even worse than isopods for identifying them because they are immensely diverse and like they are parasitic and predatory. The adults mostly predatory, the larvae are parasitic, but I don't know how something that moves this slow would ever be able to attach itself to a host to suck its blood or anything.
That's crazy.
So I haven't really understood these guys.
I was gonna say I haven't seen those before, but I'm kind of glad after you just said that. And Featherfilms was just
Some of them
asking.
actually get up to like 4 millimeters, so they're really well visible with the naked eye.
Oh my gosh. No, thank you. So would
But
they
this guy is
feast on the isopods?
no, well, no, I don't know. I know that most of them are really specialized for one host. So there's a lot of
Okay.
species that specialize like on mosquitoes or on dragonflies, and you see a lot of some of them are bright red and big enough to see with the naked eye.
Okay. So I'm safe.
This one is kind of looks like a tick. That's why it's so ugly and repulsive.
It does look.
But some of them
like
are
a tick.
really, really cool. They have like freaky colors. Some of them are blue. Some of them are turquoise, really bright
Yeah.
red.
You're not selling.
I
Nope.
love
You can keep
I
them.
love water mites.
Nope. Nope. You can keep them.
But this is the most boring kind of water mite, actually.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
That's
any
what I'm
color on them. That's
driving
for
at.
sure.
It's like a very dark red, but it moves so slowly. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
Yeah,
That
but
thing that just
that's
fell
it
down?
answers the question.
A giant
Thing that
thing.
fell down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At the bottom.
That guy? That's a copepod.
Does a guy
Fastest animal on Earth.
really?
And I think the one with the most, one of the contenders for the biggest biomass, because marine zooplankton is made up of copepods
Oh my
for
gosh. What if I move it?
a big part of the.
Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
They move really freaky, jittery.
The microscope plus
There's a
being able to zoom in on the OBS is like we're seeing some crazy stuff right now.
Yeah, but with a stereoscope, you would have like a 5x zoom or something like that. It would be crazy.
So that's the next robot.
Yeah, no, I built this one is that heavy because I know one day I wanted to put a bigger like imaging unit on there.
Okay. You future-proofed your robot.
I knew I only was going to do this once, so
Oh
I
my gosh.
future-proofed it. As hell, yeah. Kind of
Futu said I
over-engineered
saw
the thing.
several leap attacks.
Yeah, I remember one in the beginning of the stream
Yeah.
when the male examined the female. He definitely did a leap attack on the female. But yeah, let's go on to the Lursius
Okay.
and look at some
Okay.
other guys later.
Let me turn on my camera. Second. Let's take a look here. Alright. I have to turn my video background blur off. And now focus. Sorry, I don't have a robot like you. I have to use my,
Boo!
I have to use my back. But okay, here we go. Now we're on
Looking
my
good.
isopods here. Okay, there's one. Let me see if I can get a few more. I get a few more. So, how big is this environment reviewing? Real quick, how big was the uh the
The
jar?
environment we were viewing was small, quite small. A jar with a 2-inch diameter, maybe,
Wow.
roundabout. No, a little more, but it's small.
That is
These isopods are small, so they do quite well in such a small vessel.
Yes, these are in a 2.5 gallon tank here.
What's that in liters again?
Uh, I'm gonna have to
No,
2.5
it's about
gallons,
10 liters, I guess.
2 liters.
I
Yes,
think. I think it would be about
9.4.
10.
Come on,
Yeah, man.
the German, and he can't even
The
convert.
German.
But okay,
That's just because I hang out in places like your Discord where people talking about, I'm setting up a 3 gallon, I'm setting up a whatever.
the
So
MTS.
I have to look it up.
Okay, see, MTS is good for education. Multiple tank syndrome. So right away, like you look up close at your isopods all the time, and like if you want, I can get up and just move the camera around. But like, just give me your impressions just looking at these compared to like what you usually see.
Yeah, so I know from my reading that the European pods I know, the Asellus and Proacellus, are um, bound to waters that don't flow too quick. They don't like too much flow. Somewhere in my book it has a even a number for how much meters per second of flow they tolerate indefinitely. Otherwise, they only colonize areas where there like debris accumulates. So areas where dead leaves will accumulate, which excludes faster flowing rivers, which are usually more of the domain of amphipods, so scuds. And one of the things I noticed was that in one of the papers you shared on Discord, they talked about lotic. I don't know how to pronounce this. Lotic,
Hello.
lotic isopods.
Mm,
And apparently, I looked it up, and it means occurring in fast-flowing water.
yes, I didn't know that
And they were
word.
talking about lursius. And I think since I read that, I really noticed that the lursius are really hunkered down and kind of streamlined with the legs not spreading out as far, not offering as much surface to this to the flow
Yeah, I
as to not be
definitely the
carried
the
away.
legs with Asellus Aquaticus, like the thing that makes me confident in saying most people don't have it is it's just those legs. Like they're so distinctly long. They're so long, you know, they're like bent and they still got all that extra length. It looks like they could lift themselves up like another inch off the ground.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, they can. I mean, they can lift themselves up when they carry a female around. I don't know how long the lursius do their mate guarding,
Mine don't seem to
but
be very
Asellus can
long.
be up to several weeks. So
Yeah. No, no, no. Mine don't seem to be very long at all. Like I've never seen them carrying them for extended periods. Uh the one of the other species I do see them carrying, and they also have similar legs to Asellus, where they're like kind of bent down.
yeah.
Um,
On the other hand, the Cecaidotia are apparently, I think it was in the British Isopod and Myriapod Society's website where they say that Cecaidotia is looser than looser and more leggy than Asellus aquaticus.
Interesting. They do the way
So
that they
kind
walk.
of
They kind of like sway side to side, like they kind of I don't know how to say it. Like it's like they lurch around. I don't know. It's like they wiggle around more than walk around. The one species I have. So I could see that being described as like loose. Do yours do like
yeah.
this like antenna thing that you were seeing here?
The twitching,
Yeah.
yeah, they do that too.
Do you know what
And I
the
mentioned this with Captain is if you have a backlight you see the particles in the water, and you see that they actually create quite a stream of. They create some flow in the water. They like rudder the water from further away to towards them. So my
Wow.
theory, it's just a theory, but my theory is that they kind of they can sniff further out if they rudder, if they twitch their antenna, they can it's their kind of equivalent to a pair of binoculars.
That's actually that would be sick. I mean, they do it for so long. I was like, is it some kind of communication? Like, I have no idea. I mean, sometimes they're like kind of gathered together and like it seems like they're yelling at each other almost. Um, Jurand said, "Sorry to be late. Would you disclose the current photon detector? What the current photon detector train is? Camera, sensor, and lenses." This has to be one of your
Yeah,
friends.
I
They
just
sound too smart.
answered yes.
No offense to my friends. No one's asked me before. What's the current photon detector train, bro? I don't even ride. I don't
No, but
even.
I already. Hi, Juran, by the way. I just wrote him an answer in the chat.
Oh, okay.
You are using the R6 Mark II and the RF 100 millimeter
Yes.
micro.
Yes. Correct. Um, Christopher Duncan said, "What type are these? They look identical to mine." Well, you did. You said you bought them off of Reddit. Who'd you buy them off of? Because you know I sell isopods on Reddit. uh, bro, a couple said, "Bro, you should use announcements in Discord where you go live." I do need to set up the In My Tanks Discord to do that. What's up, Glassbox? How's it going? Putu says, "My Seisidota, or wait, how do you say it? Kate, you say
Kaido Tia?
Keikaido Tia."
That's misspelled. It's a EA at the end, no?
Uh, again. I'm going with the German. I'm just gonna believe you.
Ia? Kaido Tia, no?
Robot man, does autocorrect come with your programming? No.
Oh, I hate it.
You don't like it?
Autocorrect is terrible.
Oh, really? Okay. I
If
mean,
you write regularly in English, in German, and in French on the same iPhone,
okay.
autocorrect will necessarily kick your ass every day.
That does sound. I don't trust autocorrect to come up for that. But they say that they carry often. I'll post photos later, and I love. Puja said I love watching the males clean their mustaches. Oh.
Yeah,
Hey, Duran dropped the
should
10.
go. with
The 10. Is that euros? Is that pounds? I don't even know.
Euros, man.
Euros.
What?
Okay.
What the hell, man?
I don't know, man. I just like, I don't even look at dollar signs that often. Like, I gotta. Oh wait, we got action. What's going on? I missed that on the stream. Looks like a male grabbed a few. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm splitting 50-50.
That's generous of you.
Yeah, very generous. I'm splitting
You're
50
gonna have to
50.
PayPal me or something. My channel isn't monetized, in case you don't know that. So
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if there's a YouTube thing for doing
Yes.
co-stream like
Well,
that.
but the tariffs are gonna
We
apply
have
towards
to.
you. So
Of course. You want to protect the local isopod industry,
yeah.
right?
I mean, you don't hate small businesses, do you?
No, I'm a small business myself, so
Then you understand. Okay. The legs. How about the antenna length? Is the antenna length similar to the Asellus to
the
you?
antenna length is similar, but the first few segments are
Oh,
bigger. Not as big as the one as the aquapods ones, but the male. I mean, you can see the silhouette of the antenna itself is way sturdier
yeah,
than that of like Asellus is really whip shaped. Like
yeah.
it's getting finer and finer in a regular or in a in a homogeneous way, if that makes sense. And like the
Yeah, like
male that
from
just was visible,
it's like a
it's
sturdy
pretty
to
thick and it
thin,
only thins down at the tip.
right? And they're going crazy
So
right
it's
now,
definitely
actually. Like
Yeah, they haven't been filmed in a while. I think they're on the
Well,
show
I
off.
I picked this tank because it's a newer but productive culture, and I like putting these wood pieces. Like I find that there's always a lot of action. I think there's a lot of territorial behavior, and like this is where they go to kind of, as we see, try and
Yeah,
find
but
mates.
I mean, what we saw before already. I think you could call that a leap attack,
Yeah, yeah,
couldn't you?
of love.
So your pods do it too. It's not just
But
the.
it's a leap attack of love though, at each other,
Oh yeah, okay,
not at
yeah.
other things.
I miss saw that.
Yeah. We just don't speak isopod, but that was like it's like giving someone a hug.
Surprise hug.
Yeah. No, I'm just like I actually haven't filmed them in a while up close, and like the antenna is really like how they're moving around constantly really is getting me. Brandon says Nick owes me money. Wait, you didn't send me your PayPal? Okay, I owe you like 250. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. You don't get any tariffs though, so think about it. You probably get more money than that will. Unless we start doing interstate tariffs. What state are you in?
Oh, through the headphones. All good.
But yes, Duran, thank you very much. Very generous. Steve says, "Uh-oh, if tariffs are high enough, he might have to pay you." Yeah, the rapid pod
Probably.
shake. The rapid pod shake is nice. Who would have thought wood louses would like wood? Yes, I definitely think a big piece of wood in the isopod tanks is very fun. They play on it all day, and it's like the equivalent of a speed dating event, really, if you think about it.
I think is wood is just one of the best substrates for biofilm to form, I guess,
Mm.
because it's porous and it's like it has a lot of surface area and it offers some nutrients as well. But these are the ones you always had basically, the ones you have for the longest. Yeah, it looks really very very non-violent there behavior.
It's just, bro, love and
It's love.
you know what?
Love can be like that. Love
Okay,
can be
okay.
really.
Let's go back to you. I'll try and set up for the next peaceful species. Okay.
No, I'm not set up yet for the.
Oh no.
You have to give me
Okay.
a minute or two.
Okay. You just want to accuse my isopods of violence. No proof. Meanwhile, yours
I
are hanging
just
out with mites.
try to yeah, see how they are really peaceful. Even a small, slow mite like that isn't even bothered.
It's waiting for a slow pod to come around so it can suck its blood, man. You're not gonna trick me just because it's pretty colors. But speaking of our biology lesson, you kind of did the observations about okay the fast moving waters, and that is something like when I've been looking to observe isopods, like I really am finding them more, if not in moving waters, it's like a stream, but they're on the edge where it is calm, kind of a thing. But like I'm not finding them as much in like stagnant water as I thought that I would going into this.
Yeah, and that's something that Asellus is. Well, I mostly find it in running water as well, but in the literature it says it's really, well, not exclusively. I've seen them in standing water as well. But the literature states that it's a species that can do really well in stagnant water or in standing bodies of water with low oxygen and stuff.
Right. Now, do you know why there's such a difference with the first parapod, the nathopod, the
No,
claws?
no. But one of the differences I have noticed is that I mean, faster flowing water implies higher oxygen levels, right?
Yep.
And higher oxygen levels would require less of a breathing apparatus, and the pleopods and the breathing apparatus seems to be bigger and more active in Asellus than in these ones, for example.
Interesting.
So in Asellus, you can really see the pleopods beating underneath, and you can see if it's warmer and oxygen is lower, it will really beat away. And if it's cool and it's high oxygen tank, then it almost doesn't move.
That is fascinating.
So the respiration is also something you can pay attention to too.
No,
Kind
definitely. That would make a lot of sense because I can tell my isopods, a lot of the ones I have, really appreciate extra oxygen. Um, that's kind of crazy that you can actually see the difference in the heat.
Well, as in the oxygen at least.
Right.
If it has to. I mean, heat and water temperature and oxygen capacity are correlated. I think most of the aquarium folks probably know that, should know that. Warmer water can take up less oxygen than cold water.
Right.
That's why the Arctic Sea is so rich in life, and why the whales go up there to feed, because the krill and all that.
Painting a beautiful
You need
picture.
water.
Now we need the marine isopods.
Yeah, I have some canned footage of marine isopods on my phone.
Very nice.
Okay. So I'm ready to go on to the Asellus Aquaticus.
All right. Asellus Aquaticus. Here we go.
The OG.
This is the
The
isopod
OG
that
aquatic isopod.
everyone who's ever wanted to get into aquatic isopods and look for them, this is like the isopod that the name probably says when they ordered it. It probably says Asellus Aquaticus.
A lot of isopods claim to be Asellus Aquatic,
Yes.
but how many actually are, I don't know. So this is a chickpea.
Wow.
I use this to transport the isopods to this jar just before the stream.
You transferred them
And
with
I
a
just
chickpea.
noticed. I thought it was the easiest way, just to grab the chickpea where they were all sitting on the chickpea. So
Incredible.
and there's a hydra, by the way,
Where's the
a
hydra?
brown hydra.
Oh wow. Wow.
With two branching babies.
My enemy.
Okay. Yeah, you have you had some. They took over
I
one of
did.
your tanks in the past.
I did have them
The green ones or brown ones?
green. They were green.
Green.
But I
Okay.
did get some giant orange ones once. Those were scary looking. I guess you could call them brown, but they seemed a little orangey to me.
These are pretty drab in color.
Yeah.
Just beige kind of.
What's the
brown
lowdown
beige.
on Hydra? I feel like people always have a lot of questions about Hydras. Like, are they problematic to you with the isopods? Like, you see them interact with a lot of stuff. I bet.
Well, I actually had a jar with Hydra sitting over winter, and they multiplied in there. And I think they mainly ate like water flea and copepods, ostracods, that sort of thing. I don't see them really interacting a lot with the isopods,
Well, that's a relief.
just because they don't. I mean, I'm sure they can harm an isopod baby, and if the Hydra population is like really strong, I could see it being problematic. But I personally always, it never even occurred to me to try to eradicate the Hydra in my tanks or in my
Right.
jars, because it's just one more thing to observe.
Hey, hold up! In my jars.
And I haven't.
Don't take in my jars. Wait a second. I might need to build a robot.
In my jars. Um, so no, I don't see Hydra as problematic, but it's my perspective as a someone who observes all kinds of things that live in water. I want to have like a complete ecosystem in my jars,
Right.
not just one or two species. So I gather a sample, and the more the merrier. Basically, I'm always happy to find
I'm definitely
as
seeing that.
many different species as possible.
Poochoo Bird says, "Would you
So,
like
but
some snail
let's.
leeches?"
I have some snail leeches. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. All right, go ahead.
I have some leeches actually in that jar where the Cacaidotia are living. There are two leeches and a population of mixed snails, like some bladder snails, some dwarf ram's horns, some. Oh, what's the other one? Bithynia, I think. What's was it?
It's
Faucet
nice,
snail, I
nice of
think it
you
was
for
called in
to
English.
house them with the food. That's nice. Poochoo Bird's fantastic
Anyways,
food web.
fantastic food web. That's why Father Fish always joins my live streams and is. I love it. He's always happy.
You got this guy. He gets it. All he has is resurrection jars.
Yeah, yeah, but that's basically it. I only have rest jars. Ooh,
So Asellus Aquaticus. This is
climber. Yeah, we
this.
didn't get a really good look yet because there's so much.
Oh, oh
I put too much hardscape in this jar. You see,
man, they're
the
going
backlight
fast.
isn't penetrating.
They're going fast.
Yeah, I'm trying to follow. There's a baby.
A. They do look similar to the other ones.
They do
Oh my
look very,
gosh, little
very similar.
baby.
Just they get bigger, but
So for
and they
those of
have
us that
the
have been looking for Asellus Aquaticus, like, do they live up to the hype?
well, that's Asellus Aquaticus is a it's just they are very sturdy in my experience. I've had them in jars and I forgot them. The jar almost dried up completely. There was no liquid water left. Add water, and the isopods are rummaging around again. So they certain things are really, yeah, I don't know.
They're invincible.
They're
Is
hard to
how it
kill
sounds.
in my experience. I know it's problematic because some people throw them in I mean, you still have to kind of think yourself into an ecosystem, an aquatic ecosystem, and try to understand why or how the things are connected, like how oxygen and temperature, for example, correlate. That if there's a lot of critters in a jar or a tank, there's more consumers of oxygen. So that plays a role. There's a nematode wiggling around in the middle of the frame,
Oh my gosh, it's going crazy. No, I
but I
think that's
can't
part
seem
of the
to
problem.
find one
Like
of these pods.
over here, I get a lot of messages about people saying, "Oh, I got these isopods. I threw them into a jar, and they all died." And it's just like, in general, they're
Yeah,
all
I
very
mean,
hardy, but you
if
still have to watch it. And then what if you did
yeah,
get a
they will
species?
100% die if you throw too much muck in there and it's just too much organics and they decompose and that also consumes the oxygen. So get like understand how oxygen in aquaria behaves and what consumes it, what produces it, and how you can manage it. I mean, a
Right.
jar is a good way to keep them if you know how to keep a jar. I mean, I've kept planaria as well.
Oh my gosh.
um, Rrr.
Yeah. When I went collecting, I saw some of the biggest planaria I've ever seen. That was that was scary. Duran said the camera movement is wicked sick, cool, but then Now
Oh
he's
yeah,
but now Durand is hating. He said, "But there are reflections. Don't you have a
there are reflections.
polarizer?"
Don't you have a polarizer on it? Are you stupid?
Come on. But actually,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing.
Well, Durand is one of my regulars. He's used to me performing better than today, maybe.
Wow, you're
I'll
giving
try
us
to
the
stick the
half.
polarizer in there,
We're getting the half performance.
but that will change.
Ooh. Oh, you're right. Dude, you can really see them breathing super fast. You're right. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize it was that dramatic.
Kind of.
But they're waving it like super fast.
So sorry for the shakiness. I had to
No, you're
put the
good.
polarizer in.
What's up, Big Steve? Jesse? But yeah, man, you're right about them like breathing faster. I totally see it. When they ran by.
Well, I think the Lersias being so close to the ground, sometimes it's just not visible.
I mean, I've even when I've filmed them like up close where I could see it, and even then, like, I don't feel like they move it that fast. But in general,
So yeah, my
your Asellus are going much faster. Just in general, they're moving around very quickly.
yeah. So my theory would be that Lersias coming from faster moving water are used to higher oxygen levels, and that might be one of the reasons why they don't do as well in a jar as Asellus do.
I could totally see that. I could totally see that. So compared to the previous species, besides appearance, is there any other differences between them? These guys kind of have a very scud vibe to them. They're moving very quickly.
Good question. I mean, I'll open up my book and see if it says anything special.
You've got like a
They can
physical book.
survive being frozen,
Wow.
and it says that possibly it's a complex of species, not one single species. But yeah, that's about everything here. There's another section. And while I'm reading, I can't focus, so excuse me. Out of focus.
No, you're good. I'm moving the
Now
camera
it's
set up to
in
the next
focus again.
species while you school us. But I know he's got to read in 3 languages, control the robot, dream of his future robot build all at the same time.
Eliminate reflections, all that.
Yeah, the polarizer. I mean, who knows about the polarizer? Come on.
Pulubird asks which one of my species breeds the fastest. Oof. I mean, I only recently started power feeding my isopods with chickpeas before they just had to fend for themselves. They got a dead leaf every once in a while. And since I'm feeding them, I feel like the Asellus do better. But I couldn't tell you. I mean, I don't have enough evidence or experience to
Yeah,
make any
the power feeding
well-educated
makes such
guesses
a
on that.
big difference with them breeding. Like, definitely, when I'm actually trying to like make a bunch, you just dump food in there.
Yeah, and keep the oxygen level high still. So here you can see the 2 bright spots on the head that are separated by a dark band in the middle. Phew, we got that. It's well visible on this one, right?
Is it?
I hope everybody saw that.
Is it? You might have to get it again,
It
man.
is.
And then the other one has the band, but not the bright thing separating it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the Pro Asellus has one big bright spot across the whole head, and
Okay, okay.
Asellus Aquaticus has two separated
The
spots.
masks. That's the other thing I look at when people are like, "This is Asellus Aquaticus." I'm like, "Where's the mask?"
The mass.
But
Yeah,
the way that you say it sounds much more official. Bands. Two bands separated by a bright spot.
bands. One band or two spots, or something like that. Oh, this is where all the water flea hang out, apparently.
Do you see a difference in their breeding with temperature, or is it basically year round?
I don't see a big difference. I mean, as long as it's room temperature, I think they are breeding fine. I've read somewhere that what was that? I think above 15 degrees Celsius or something. They start breeding.
I can manage
I
that.
know that Asellus aquaticus in the wild apparently only reproduces once a year, if I remember correctly.
So that would be the wild, like where they're actually from. But if they're in their invasive spots, then I guess it's who
Yeah,
knows.
I mean, of course, if they can, they are in some waters that keep over 15 degrees. But here we can see have another good look at the antennae that are really very slender and, yeah, web-shaped like poodle bird. Just remarked.
Ooh, this is a good. This is a good view. Oh, you're cooking right now. Look at him munching. Oh, this one's very glowy. I feel like when I look on the eBay, like, there's a lot of. I felt like there's a lot of black looking Asellus Aquaticus.
Yeah, but the glowiness comes from the polarizer. Let me rotate the polarizer. You can see the effect.
Oh.
So
Branton is taking his pods to Pound Town. He's pounding his with food. Oh my god. Hey, the isopods were taking
supersize
themselves to
your
Pound
pods.
Town earlier. All right. So this other species that got, there's actually one out right now. So if you want to switch, just because
Let's switch.
my
Let's
colonies
switch.
shrink, so I don't know how many I'll be able to get. Because like I said, the high oxygen requirement, I had a bunch of floating plants, and when I redid my air, I was getting this colony ready, so maybe I could ship some out to people, but I had a mass die off, so I still have a decent amount, but I am rebuilding. 1 second here. But yeah, that was a beautiful shot of the Asellus Aquaticus, man. Beautiful. Hello, camera. Would you like to turn on? We switched too soon.
Apparently, I already turned the light off mine.
Oh my gosh.
Now you have to deliver. I can't help you.
Okay, I'm trying. This is sad. This is very sad. Make sure it's plugged in correctly. Everything always wants to. Oh.
You gotta switch it on.
I know. I gotta turn it on. The camera's on. It's plugged in. Nothing changed. Oh, wait. Actually, the camera wasn't on. I lied.
You see?
Okay. Let's see if we can do it. This will be the first The first time the species has been live streamed. And it's only because Matt.
Oh, I've got another one for those.
Yeah, yeah.
For that.
Yo, go run tell all the isopod people we're breaking news. So this is
We're making history.
yeah. This is Isopod Agenda History International. How many times are you gonna see? I think we're gonna get 3 species each off this time. I probably should have led with that.
Yeah.
That's like okay, but this is I'm pretty sure Lursius brachyrus. It'll be the next one that I try and breed a bunch of and spread around. And this is actually.
And by saying pretty sure, you should add that it's the highest degree of certainty that we have with any of the pods we're showing tonight. Basically.
Yes. Yeah. This one is like probably because like it has a limited range. I know exactly where it came from, and like it has a very distinct look. In fact, the only isopod that looks super to me like identical is one that's endemic to one thermal spring. There's an isopod that it's like Lursius thermae or something, and it's only in like one thermal spring, and they look pretty close. But yeah, so this is actually a young.
Probably not.
Probably not. This is a young one actually that I've bred, as much as that word means. And you can see he's not really moving around too much. They're much chiller. Much chiller. Well, okay.
No antenna twitching.
Nothing. And here's the thing with them too, which is bad. So I did have a little bit of a die-off, but the real problem is that these guys, they do hold for a very long time, and they also congregate. So like when I found them, there was like 60 of them in like one small rock. So like right now in this tank, as soon as they have eggs, they all go and like congregate together under rocks and stuff. So it's hard to observe them when they're like actively breeding, because when they're holding, they're hiding, and when they have eggs, they're hiding. But as soon as I saw a bunch of babies and they all hatched, they were out and about like the other isopods. But yeah, the highest degree of certainty, Lursius brachyrus, and they are found in, I think, mostly spring water. So pretty high oxygen, which is why it was so bad when I lost my air. Let me see if I can get a side view, but what are your impressions?
Are there those paramecia that I see on the right edge of the screen? For you, left edge, maybe? Because the screen was mirrored again?
You said paramecium?
Sorry, there was some really small stuff zooming around. Too late. Let's stay on the isopods. Well, this one shows to a more extreme degree the same things that I mentioned for the other Lursius species, that it's very hunkered down and like it doesn't offer a lot of resistance to any flowing water that's sweeping across the rock that it's sitting on. So that's like it just would make sense that it occurs in even faster flowing water.
Yes.
But I mean, look at the uropods on this one. It's so tiny.
They're like
Almost
non-existent.
Non-existent.
Yeah. Well, Oh, wait, you were saying no antenna moving. Hold on.
Yeah, he's waking up.
We got something.
He feels some pressure to be interesting.
Yeah, this is the action that everyone came to see.
And I think a detritus worm just got stuck to his antenna.
I'm seeing that. Oh my god, it's trying to shake the worm off. Wait.
No, it's a parasitic worm.
I know.
Be cool, man. Just a detritus worm.
I have seen that where detritus worms like get on the isopods, and they do seem to be annoyed when that happens.
I have seen like tiny detritus worms And isopods walking past them and ignoring them, utterly ignoring them. Like that was my aha moment for yes, isopods are really peaceful. They don't even munch on a freaking worm that is in front of their mouth. They
Oh, that's
they
interesting.
can't.
So to you, the fact they don't eat the detritus worms is like pretty unusual, or just like a big indicator.
I mean, I know that a scud wouldn't think twice about eating it.
True. Even the shrimp, the Neocaridina, love eating all kinds of worms. I feed my shrimp
Yeah, I
microworms.
mean, animal protein is usually a nice thing to have to eat. But the fact that isopods, or at least the Asellus I observed then, didn't go for it is kind of proof that they are really specialized on like fibrous woody stuff, on detritus, on the stuff that other animals can't eat.
Right. And their only defense
And
against the
that's
detritus worm is wiggling the antenna.
yeah. But that's one of the things that I really enjoy, or that I really appreciate, that in nature these guys transform the the droppings of other animals and fallen leaves into really a great food source for fish and other animals.
Hmm.
It's like a magic trick. It's really our planet couldn't exist without animals like that. But we kind of don't give them the attention or the credit they deserve.
Well, now they get a whole live stream in front of all these people. See?
All these people, yeah,
Yeah, we're changing it right now, man. You and
we're
me.
we're, we're working hard to change it,
The isopod agenda, international.
the isopod agenda. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's
It
no,
is.
it's important. I mean, and these days where like environmental concerns become more important and more important, I think like aquatic environments can only profit from people um like getting to know them and trying to understand them and stuff.
I think the cool thing also is why I like breeding and selling the isopods is like people when they learn they exist, they get super into them, and they think they're cute, they care about them, but no one or many people don't realize it's like they're in the water all around them. Like you said, like they're so underappreciated. They've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
we're
mean they're hard to observe. That's probably one of the problems
I,
why
true.
they aren't more popular
I mean,
or
but if you fish or
you know.
something, maybe you've seen them. If you go outside enough and do that kind of thing, which I don't.
That's kind
So
of the sad things the sad thing about humanity is that most of the people that know about isopods and other small aquatic invertebrates, arthropods in particular, most of the people that know them because they are fly fishermen and they know how to tie a fly that resembles one of these creatures,
right.
and they do it only to catch a trout, not to yeah, it's just uh,
Yeah. No,
an ends.
that is so funny. They know how to tie something that looks like that. Jordan said, "I do not interfere
Yeah,
with."
but they do. I mean, sometimes I research one of the critters I find, and most of the videos and stuff I find on that creature are like instructions how to tie a fly that resembles
It's
a
true.
chironomid midge, because most people that like use live chironomid midge larvae call them bloodworms for the aquaria. So if you like write out chironomid midge, yeah,
It's
it's
very
the fly
true. They
fisherman.
always call them something. I think they call like the isopods like water loose or hog loose or something
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, bro, that's just not as
Water
appealing.
hog.
That's not as appealing at all.
Well, it's one of the, I think it's the original name in the UK.
Really. You guys could have done better, man. I'm sorry. Even roly
I'm not from
poly.
UK.
Even roly poly.
Roly poly
You're the
is nice.
representative right now, okay? Only one of us is talking in
I'm
liters and
representing the
kilograms.
whole of Europe,
Yeah, and you
and
speak three languages, so
I
you're
have
responsible
to.
for all those too. Now, I'm not responsible for anything except for the tariffs. the super chat tariff.
Super chat tariffs apply. I
Juran
think I
said,
saw it on the list that Trump presented, with China on the top and
yeah,
right on
yeah.
the bottom were super chats.
I mean, listen, the isopod agenda has been lobbying. We're working on the issue. We'll get this fixed, but until then, your check's going to be a little smaller than expected. Juran said, I do not interfere with
Yeah.
animated things, parentheses, besides my kids and wife, but after some ideas, the AI overlords told me that some fluorescent dyes do not harm the little animals, but make them shine. Talk about dyeing the isopods.
Interesting.
Fluorescent dyes.
Dying isopods. I think that goes into the glowfish direction, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's like genetic. Dyeing
No,
it.
he's talking about dyes. In microscopy, you use dyes to make certain tissues more visible.
I
Like
see. I
that's
see.
if you have a dye that only gets absorbed by the lignin, you can make visible the like the what you call it? In plants, you can make certain structures visible, and apparently usually you have to kill the stuff, and some of the dyes are toxic themselves. But
Interesting.
apparently the AI overlords told Duran that some of the well, I wouldn't trust the AI overlords
No, hold on a second.
on
There's
on
not.
everything.
I mean, what's wrong with the AI
Sometimes it
overlords?
has good ideas. Huh?
Ask it to identify the isopod for you.
Like as well, if you ask the AI overlords what a certain isopod is eating, it always tells you that it's the tridivore and end of story.
Right. Are there
The last one
any?
I'm gonna show tonight,
Go for it.
I haven't figured out a thing they eat yet. I haven't figured out what they eat. I know they don't take chickpeas like the other ones I have,
Oh wow. Dietary preference
but
is
they're
that
tiny,
different?
but really, really tiny as well.
I haven't the one that we're on right now, and just let me know when you want to switch, and I'll switch it over. But I haven't really figured out what
Is this a
they.
photo, by the way?
Is this a photo? No, it's not a photo.
Oh, I'm not running right now. I have to turn the lights on.
Does that pot have
Oof.
algae on it? No. Compared to the isopods had as brood site, well, I've only had them spawn once or twice. It seems pretty comparable. There's a lot of babies. And
Sorry.
well, your robot actually makes noises. That's awesome.
No, that's the remote control
We'll just say it's a robot.
making noises. But I'll let you know when I'm ready.
All right, all right.
Keep.
Some isopods can go fluorescent. There are papers about it. Duran says, interesting. I know I saw some about like uric acid and things like that when they're looking for what was responsible for some pigments. Now these guys don't got a lot of it's not a lot of color. So some of the other isopods have like the gold speckles and stuff like that. I think the best I could do with these, right, is some look like more yellow than others. But I'm trying to see if there's any difference with the middle leg, like you noted before. The legs all seem
I think
pretty
that's
similar.
only in the ones that do long-term mate guarding.
These guys they do carry for a bit.
Okay.
So, but I mean this is a young pod, so.
But how do they carry though? Because they don't seem to be long-legged enough to.
I think
Really
this
something.
pod hasn't come into its legs yet, and also I guess technically it could be a female too. Maybe there's a difference. I've been trying to look, but they're all underneath the rocks that I have in there. I'm trying to see if I can find a bigger one.
Oh.
It's just they're killing me, man. This is all I got.
Okay, I gotta play a little bit with my lighting.
Oh my gosh, it moves.
Okay.
Oh, okay, we can get a side of the legs a little bit. Hold on, bro. This is exciting. Come on. Oh, you're right. It is hard when it's mirrored. Well, you can see it's breathing a little bit.
A tiny little bit. Well, I think these might have just a slow metabolism or something. So they don't need to breathe as much.
I get it. You think that they're boring. You think they're slow.
They're slow.
No, they can move. I'm telling. It's just this one. Look, they're in they're in slow mode. Okay, I'm sorry. They've been moving at other periods of time. But right now,
I think they're super cool looking. The head with those long eyes,
yeah, yeah.
like
Now we're
slit
talking.
eyes,
Now we're talking.
reminds me of horseshoe crab.
Okay, I can.
So
Yeah.
really like primeval or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Primeval pod. Okay, I'm ready as soon
All right,
as
we're on you. Whoa.
Twitch.
What?
So these are the tiny pods.
Oh my gosh.
They are called Gera. I'll write it in the chat. Oh, I should mark the chat to write in the chat. Cursor here. Gera history. And this one is also, I'm fairly certain that it is this exact species because, yeah, I have yet to find anything that resembles this one.
Yeah, this
It
is looking
teeny,
crazy.
teeny, tiny. So adults here are 4 millimeters long.
Wow.
So our field of view is maybe 15 millimeters, something like that.
They're all got
And
eggs on them, man. You're about to have tons.
well, let's see. Let me get one in focus first.
I'm seeing a
Oh,
lot of
I'm descriptive. I'm
full
always
mushroom
looking back and
pubes.
forth from the YouTube feed to the Discord feed, and it confuses me because one moves the wrong direction.
Get
Okay,
it together,
I'm
man.
good
Come
now.
on.
I'll get it together. I have it together now. The only problem is that the stuff I see is like 10 seconds before the
Oh,
audience sees it.
oh
So
no,
I'm
this.
commenting on things that haven't happened yet.
They're
They
so
are
translucent.
congregating here. That's because they're so tiny.
You know, the egg
But they
sac is
are
like
hard to
half their
find. They
body.
kind of, yeah, but it's not really sticking out. It's so flat. And when they are mate guarding, it's not really mate guarding. That's just a male that rides piggyback on the female,
Wow.
and the polarizer gives them some really weird, yeah, makes them shine in a blue light. They are social, eh?
They're, yeah, these are active. I get it. They move. It's not a photo.
Let's do a big pile, guys. Let's do a big pile.
Like, what are they even doing, bro?
Well,
They're
they
just
are
like,
active, but if they were in a bigger tank with a lot of rubble, you wouldn't see one of them.
okay,
Not a single one, I'm fairly.
really?
Pigmentation seems to be really variable. Like this one in the middle doesn't have a pigment at all.
That
The
was
smaller one
crazy.
here on the right is really brownish. But I love these ones. The problem is the colony I have of these ones has already crashed 2 times. And the first time I take responsibility. I put a piece of chickpea in there and they didn't feed on it, and I left it in there because I thought, hey, maybe they'll start feeding on it later or
Yeah,
something.
I've made that mistake.
And in the end, I think that was the one of the factors that like made the oxygen levels drop, and my observing them and bombarding them with ludicrous amounts of light and therefore heating the jar isn't helping it
Mm.
either.
So where do
This one
these
is
come
tiny and
from?
it also has a full marsupium, apparently. Where these come from? They come from the Ponto-Caspian Basin. That's a popular term in zoology,
Very
especially
fancy.
talking about neophytes. The Black Sea. They come from the Black Sea. Oh, here's a mayfly nymph. What's it doing? It's frantic. Yeah, some of the big rivers that flow into the Black Sea in the river deltas. This apparently a an environment where very competitive animal species have evolved because a lot of the invasive species we have in Northern Europe come from there, including the killer shrimp.
Ah, yes.
It may be just because humans built a canal that connects the Danube River with other big rivers. So the humans provided a direct connection and also a ride in form of freight ships and ballast water and stuff like that. It's always the same, or usually it's the same. Sometimes invasive species are introduced by aquarium trade. If it's like on the other end of the planet, and some species can travel by themselves or through human traffic. Human traffic sounds wrong.
I was about to say, are these guys, you telling me these guys were trafficked?
No, I'm telling you that they came with ships that like went to the Black Sea. I mean, you can take a ship and go through overland, basically, or not overland, of course, but through waterways. There's a baby. Um,
Wow.
you can go from Amsterdam to the Black Sea without ever going to an ocean. And I mean, if one of these isopods goes on the ship or the hull of the ship or in a ballast water tank unnoticed, likely unnoticed because it's tiny, yeah, it can reach new environments really easily. But you see the side of the head for this one? So
I mean,
it always looks like they have like a what do you call it? A beard
oh my
on the
gosh, that is
side
a
of the
baby.
face.
So yeah, their body shape in general is just very wild. It's very much like a penny beetle. Like they're just round. They're
Yeah, it's really flat and quite large,
so. Would
not
you
very
also
long.
say flowing water for them?
I've read that they, in the Danube River and other big rivers, I mean, they come from the Black Sea and the Danube River system, apparently. And big rivers have these, I don't know what it's called. For sedimentation, you have like these almost a small dam that reaches partway into the river,
Mm.
made from big, big rocks. So the I think that's so the side of the river the doesn't erode as much because flow is slowed down towards the edge.
Right.
And these guys apparently they like to be on these things way out where the current is strongest. So I think flowing water, yes. I think oxygen, higher oxygen, yes. Smaller respiratory organs. Um, Maybe, yeah, no, cooler temperatures wouldn't really make sense with them coming from the Black Sea. It does get really cold there, but it also gets really warm. Oh, there's
So where did you
a...
find them? You didn't go to the Black Sea, did you?
No, I found them in a small tributary of the river Rhine, which is also connected to the Danube. There's a channel that's
Hmm.
called the Rhine-Main-Danube Canal, Rhine-Main-Donau-Kanal in German.
Rhine-Nine-Duno Canal.
So basically, they have connected a few of the biggest rivers that flow through Central Europe to be able to, to optimize like shipping
No, this is for the isopods.
waterways.
Those are our waterways now.
Yeah, and these guys are invasive here. Like they have made their way to Spain by now, I think.
Is it a problem?
That's a good question. I
They
think if
they
they
look
are
so
really called
harmless.
invasive, they look so harmless, yes. Um, the fact is that river systems are really changing, or they really are still changing, and they have been changing for a while since humans uh, have industrialized like shipping, and they transport so much water and goods over large distances. And I don't know. I mean, this killer shrimp, for example. It does live in the Rhine River as well. It's
Mm.
invasive there. Um, and it associates with a mussel, a zebra mussel. And the zebra mussel is also invasive. And the zebra mussel creates like the microhabitat structure on the rocks and stuff that these killer shrimp really appreciate for hunting territory. So sometimes these things influence each other more than one might think possible.
Wow.
And this mayfly nymph is really munching away.
These look so tiny.
He had his coffee this morning.
Let's see. That's what my isopods needed. Wow. So would the killer shrimp eat these isopods?
Yes. I mean, killer shrimps are a kind of scud, an enormous kind of scud. And the second time my colony crashed is because there were some scuds in there, I think, and I didn't feed the jar. So these isopods wouldn't have eaten the chickpeas, but I think the chickpeas would have kept the amphipods, so the scuds, from eating the isopods.
This is ridiculous.
That's my theory, at
Oh
least.
my gosh.
But yeah, I mean, being invasive, every isopod of the species that I collect in the wild is a good deed done for Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So I don't have any problem with going out and collecting multiple times.
Yeah, that's kind of
But they
cool.
are cute, so I am kind of sad when they
Imprint after said,
will
"Where can I
die.
get these in L.A.?" I mean,
I'm afraid it will be hard to get these in LA, as hard as getting Lursius in Europe. And to be honest, I mean, I would love to observe some Lursius on my robot, but I am painfully aware that it's a horrible idea to bring these guys to Europe. I mean, sooner or later they will arrive here, I'm certain that someone says, I need this in my aquarium, and like with airmail or something, they get sent over there, or someone takes them with them when they travel by plane or something. But the baby isopods are so tiny. I mean, you siphon out your tank, you're bound to suck up some babies. Yeah, you put the old water, you put it down the toilet, I guess. And some of these species are sturdy enough to make it through a sewer. And voila, you have a new species in your area. And yeah, I think that's a bad idea,
but think about
sadly.
you wouldn't have these cute isopods if that hadn't happened. So I feel like you're letting it work for you, but not for the rest of us, man.
Yeah, well, I don't siphon stuff.
Oh, you just do the jars, no siphon.
I do jars,
So
and I don't clean jars.
now live, if I ever send the isopod over there, I can be publicly shamed because I've been given the reason why.
Well, I would
I know
observe it, and
better.
I think I would keep it isolated and give it to no one, because even if people think they know what they do, if they keep it in an aquarium, I see it as problematic. But because you're almost guaranteed that some days some of them will make their way out. You would have to pass your water changes through a coffee filter or something.
Wow.
I
Well,
mean, the adults are freaking 4 millimeters. The babies are half a millimeter, maybe. There's one.
I'm just
A
gonna
baby
send this clip
nose.
to everyone that asks me to ship internationally. You've gotten the answer. I can't
Yeah,
do
I
it.
mean, it's sad, but it's that's my opinion on it. That's my opinion.
I think it's fair.
Anyway, I think it's probably idealistic if you look at what happens in the aquarium fish trade, where like fish are wild caught somewhere in the tropics and then they're shipped to America or Europe and sold for a lot of money. It's like, I personally find that a little shocking,
I mean,
or it's probably problematic.
no, it's. I think you got a fair point, and you know the isopod stuff is so new that now we can set an example. So it's like, okay, I'm one of the first people selling and breeding them, so I should set a good example. Like we're
Yeah.
not shipping them internationally. Whereas like with the fish, a lot of them it's like, well, it's already kind of too late for that anyway. So whatever, you know. But the isopods,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
like this is
people
new.
won't siphon out their fish and flush them down the toilet. They should notice that. Even with something as small as a chili respora or something. I mean, it's fish are generally fast enough to avoid being siphoned up as well,
Right.
I guess. But with something like an isopod that's bottom dweller and like the babies are half a millimeter in size, how would you how would you make sure you don't release them
I think that's
unintentionally?
fair.
It would be pretty hard.
I mean, you already got so many cool invasive isopods over there already anyway, so it's not like you need them. You got these guys.
They'll show up on their own.
Yeah, just wait, wait for them to show up your local waterway, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, if they show up, they'll show up in the Rhine River. It's one of the biggest rivers in Central Europe.
Well, you just caused a huge pod tourism spike.
Yeah, they will all come to the Rhine River and look for these pods. To be honest, I found them by chance because I sampled this small tributary to find other stuff. And I thought, hey, wait a minute, that looks like an isopod. And I was, yeah, man, that's the isopod from my book. One of those that I never saw. And I was really happy. And I
Oh, that's
shared it on your
awesome.
Discord as well.
That's awesome.
And that's a thing for me. I always have books on the stuff that I'm interested in. With the plants back in the days, it was the same thing. Sometimes I would stumble into a plant in the wild and was like, ah, man, I always wanted to see this thing. I knew it from the book, but it was like I saw this picture of this plant, a drawing of a plant, and I thought, oh, that looks cool. It would be so neat to see that out in the wild one day.
Oh, that's the best.
And sometimes you get lucky, and yeah, it's the best if you
Is there anything from your
see
books that
the
you're?
the female on the right is aerating her marsupium, or oxygenating, not
Oh,
aerating. I guess just
wow,
yeah, she
they're
quit.
very touchy.
No.
Is there
Yeah,
anything you're
they
still looking
are.
for from your books that you're hoping you run into?
Oh yeah, sure. There's so much to see, and I mean, with stuff like bryozoa, that's something I only saw once for the moment, and there's lots of different species. I would love to see some more freshwater bryozoa. Um, just one example. And oh, where to begin? I mean, colonial rotifers, tube-dwelling rotifers. There's so much
Colonial
really
rotifers.
cool.
What in the world?
Yeah, Google it. Colonial
Also,
rotifers.
Putu asked which book it was that these were in.
My German Was lebt in Tümpel, Bach und Weiher book. What lives in puddles, creek, and pond?
Wow.
Cosmos. But I don't think it exists, and it's a German publication.
Okay. Well, Putu, hopefully you got that.
But let me think. I know for the UK there are some decent English substitutes. For the Americas, unfortunately, I am not sure. It's also a big area to cover. So maybe try and get something that's, yeah, I don't know.
Which areas have like the best information or like most information about their isopods?
Which areas? I don't understand
Yeah, like you said you
what
have
you mean.
you read like multiple different languages. You got your German book. You're like, oh, there's a decent UK
I
substitute.
only
Like,
have a German book. I
which
only have a
one?
German book. The thing is that Germany is like a region of moderate size in Central Europe with people who made a book about the animals that occur in this area. The US is a way bigger region, so it would be hard to make a book that encompasses all of the US, and I highly doubt that there's some books like consumer books on freshwater invertebrates just for Maryland or just for like Washington or
Right.
something like that. You
Have you
know
looked at
what
any
I
of
mean?
like
So
the
for a comparable size of area, I guess that the number of species would be similar to the one occurring in Germany,
Hmm.
but there won't. Yeah, I doubt that there's a specific book on it. I could be wrong. I don't
No,
know.
I mean, have you read any or looked into any of like the Russian research on isopods? I feel like I've seen a lot of papers pop up from that region.
I can't say that I did not.
There was one about like isopods. I think it was like well, they're not Russia, but like in the Chernobyl area, and like how they reacted to being in
Uh,
radioactive water. It was pretty interesting. They actually were
yeah, I mean,
still
Asellus
doing okay.
Aquaticus is a model organism for a lot of scientific study. They are easily kept and reproduce easily in a lab, and yeah, they don't fly away or anything. It's a good a good organism to study.
Once they
Just because we have a kind of a good look here, the general body shape and the Europods on this are, yeah, special as well. Europods really close together, but almost, yeah, like the Brachiosaurus,
yeah, it's
very small.
even more extreme almost. It's the translucency on these is really, it's just cool to watch the
I
light
think
shine through them.
it's a size thing. I mean, if you watch the Asellus babies, they are also really translucent.
Hmm. True. Jody, have a safe drive. Pond puppies, thank you for lurking. Sorry, I'm just catching up. Brandon, what did I miss? Putu did the summary first. They spoke on invasive species and being responsible about importing and exporting. Very
Ah,
true.
that's something I wanted to mention as well, that Conrad is doing, so Aquapods is doing a decent job um, in telling people that they shouldn't spread their pods and release them and stuff. So the
Yes.
non-release clause is a cool idea. I don't know how far it goes in reality. Sadly, only a few pods can result in an invasion, I guess.
No, that's a good note. I need to add that. I do really like
But
Aquapods, Conrad. He's very thoughtful like that.
yeah, he's aware of the problem.
Yeah.
That's the half the battle.
I'm
So they also comb their mustache.
I'm gonna try and get my last species in 1 second here. Just you
Yeah,
talk for like 2 minutes because they hide so much. I have them in like a still the original thing I collected them in. They've been in there for like months, just reproducing. But then I have a tank. It's just they hide so much. So I'm gonna put some new ones in there and just turn the camera on as they float down because that will be my best chance of getting them.
okay, turkey baster.
Yeah, yeah. So just get you fill the floor. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Talk about how this isopod is shiny right now because there's the polarizing. So, do I have a secondary light on right now? No, I don't. So it's purely cross. So the light source is polarized, then the light travels through the isopod, and then there's another polarizer that is in a 90-degree of the first one's orientation. So they are cross, that's why it's called cross-polarized. And some things show a response to cross-polarized light. For example, muscle fiber, some minerals, crystalline structures, muscle fibers and other fibrous materials. Some hair algae really light up, for example. Snail shells. There's a tiny baby, by the way. This one does beat its pleopods a little faster, so the back is vibrating. You see some movement in the back. Yeah, and I like to use a polarized backlight because the light itself will be almost invisible when you cross-polarize it. So you have a backlight, but you don't see it. To prove it, I will rotate the...
Yeah, you're lying. Show us the truth. Prove it.
Yeah, now the contrast between the pod and the algae really changes. But
Yeah.
you can't really see the light source because I have it blocked out. But it's a cool technique, and I think with Aquaria, I also thought about like making a tank with a polarizer glued to the to the entirety of the front glass.
Oh wow, that would be cool.
That would be a project
That'd be very cool.
because polarizing film isn't expensive. It's like $10 for a big sheet. But yeah, I mean, you should change before your pods are all in hiding again.
Yes, so I'm going to switch to my feed for my last species, and I will drop them in, and we'll see if we see any. I'll try and aim for this spot. So, 1 second. I actually like broke my mic stand I was using,
Oh,
so now I'm like trying to
just now during
hold.
the stream, or
Yes, yes. And
oh,
my computer almost died.
casualties.
My computer was it was like moments away from dying. So there's a lot of behind the scenes drama occurring right
Yeah.
now. But okay, so this species, I would my guess is it's a what I would say I pronounce it Saciadota, which is probably wrong, but it just sounds cool to me. Um, But I guess now it's Asellus, really. Okay. So I'm dropping some in.
So have they all been renamed?
I don't think all of them, but a good amount. All right.
Cornicellus, but you don't find anything yet, or not a whole lot when you Google for Cornicellus, I guess.
Not a ton. It's in like one paper that they just came out actually.
Ah, there was one.
Yeah, they dropped in very
Okay,
quickly.
those are
Sorry.
the most similar to Asellus.
Exactly.
That's for sure. The most similar of the ones you showed today.
So they're very cryptic. That's why I had to drop them in very quickly. I'm gonna back the camera up and see if, as they explore more. But it's like also, I had the mic in my hand. Oh my god.
So yeah, Poodle Bird asks where you got them from.
I got them also in Maryland. No wait, actually, that's a lie. I collected these in Pennsylvania. And it was off of the river. I'm blanking. In the Harrisburg area. What's actually, I didn't mention the Lursius brachyrus. I was actually looking for those when I collected these guys that we can't even see. Because they kind of co-occur.
Ah, okay.
Like I found a very similar looking species when I went over there and collected them. So the Lursius brachyrus actually had another species that I found with them in the exact same spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the container that I have them sitting in and just try and film that because I'm not going to see them in here.
Too much rubble. Too much habitat.
Yeah. That's the sound of me knocking my computer over.
And wrestling with your mic.
Yeah, I dropped it. Everything fell all at once. Oh my god, bro. Help. Help.
So you're trying to film handheld with
a
while holding the mic?
While holding the mic. Give me one moment.
You have a hot shoe mount?
Everything broke.
Put it on in reverse. Oh, but it's interesting that you can get.
Oh, there's one.
There's this one. With a.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
It's a big one.
You said it's interesting. You can get this. With
it's interesting. Yeah, with the USB cable, with the R6 Mark II.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to try that. I thought I'd have to buy a micro HDMI something. Jigger. But if you can get it through USB, it's better usually. I prefer that thing. I already have the cables for it.
Okay. So we're gonna look in the container. I gotta shine the light, so you're gonna have to do the commentary while I do this because I can't hold the mic.
Hold the mic, hold the camera, hold the light, and do the commentary.
No.
Easy. We're seeing the cables. I'm commenting on the cables. This looks very organized.
You know what?
I'm having a hard time making sense of what I'm seeing, to be honest. So the container you collected them in is a glass jar?
It's a Tupper, like a plastic.
And we're looking into it from the top.
Yes. The best viewing angle.
Maybe if it's can you put the light down next to the thing to shine in from through the side so we don't get the reflection?
Genius. So check out how big that planarian is. Wait.
Wait for it.
There we go. And it's mirrored, and I gotta focus with one hand. Oh, you can
The
see that
mirror
thing
thing
is.
is the worst.
You can see that thing is huge.
Oh yeah, it is. And it has the triangular head. It's an evil one.
Yes, there's a bunch of them in here. All right. So
Well, I don't care about them.
there's also scuds in here, unfortunately. So there's one of the isopods.
The
They only want to hug
image is too
this.
dark.
Yeah, they only want to hug the side. I'm like searching for them. 1 second. All I'm seeing right now is planaria.
They hug the side. Did you see the clip I made from when I transferred my isopods and I had a bunch of them in the, like in the lid of one of my jars,
Oh,
and they all milled around in a circle?
like the cows in the horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this looks better.
Well, it's kind of nice that you could see, like they've been in this container for months, and it's just like leaves.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if all
You
my
have an airstone in there?
nothing. I got nothing.
Okay.
Oh wait. God damn.
I think the
There you go.
Kekaidotia may be more adapted to slower flowing, lower oxygen,
Okay.
more detritus conditions.
This is like the worst thing that I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, essentially these ones do look very, very similar to Asellus Aquaticus and Pro-Asellus.
Yep.
So Con-Asellus, Pro-Asellus, Asellus, and Kekaidotia are way harder to distinguish than
Yeah. So if you looked at
any
these
one
guys
of these
immediately,
and
could you tell?
Lersius.
Could you tell that these weren't Asellus if you saw them?
No. No. I don't think so. I mean, I think I'd have a hard time telling them apart even if I had them under my own observation.
But they don't have the band on them though, right?
On the head?
Yeah. It's like totally dark.
They don't have two bright spots on the head? Or one big one?
Not that I'm seeing.
I don't see it.
See if this guy pops out. Oh, it just looks all dark. They almost look like they're coated in dust. Like that's just what they always look like.
Yeah.
It's not just because it's dirty.
I think it's a camouflage. Maybe these small hairs that you commented on the Asellus. When you see the Asellus as well, they often have a cover of detritus on their back, and it's great camouflage, I guess.
I mean, it's definitely working on me. I can't see shit. All I see is planaria. Look at them. They're everywhere. Oh wait, that's an isopod right there, isn't it? Or is it a scud? I can't tell. It blends
I don't
in
know.
perfectly.
I see a planaria.
Oh,
On the
right in
leaf
middle.
there is an isopod, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if I was a fish, I'd just starve.
Yeah, but I mean, filming macro freehand is a challenge.
Yeah. I just wanted to. You get the idea of what they look like. I think that
Yeah, I mean,
that accomplishes
of course.
That accomplishes it.
Just out of curiosity, is that with the stabilizers, everything on?
I think so.
I guess.
I think so.
Okay.
But the way that I'm holding it is not. If you could see what I look like right now, you would be amazed that anything was able to be seen. I'm in pain. I'll say
Okay.
that much. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Right.
How do you feel?
A little tired,
Yeah,
but pretty good. Otherwise, very good. We talked about all 6 of the species,
indeed.
and I don't know. Maybe people have some questions
Yes.
on
Yes. Any
some of the
questions?
particulars.
Let me
Shoot.
set everything down. My legs. I've been crouching like this entire stream.
And by the way, I think my active cooling on the capture card worked because my capture card didn't.
Excellent. Excellent. What's
No
up,
trouble.
Norfolk, Southern Ponds, Branton, staying out of trouble. Oh, are those Medaka fry? Yes, I did have a Medaka fry in that isopod tank. I think I just stuck some eggs in there just to see if they would last and hatch. I've been doing that a lot. Like with any of the new isopod species, like I'll just throw fish eggs in there and see if they hatch. And so far, so good, because Medaka keeps showing up. Branton asked.
So you do this to test if the isopods eat the fish eggs?
Yes, because one of the things
Okay.
why I first got them is I got them to take care of fish eggs because I theorized that they would eat fungus off the fish eggs but not the eggs themselves, and I found 2 papers that kind of back that up. But of course, when you get a new species, I can't just assume that it's going to be true for all of them, even if they all seem to, like you say, don't even eat a detritus worm. But I still got to check,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, of course.
Branton asked, do any of these different varieties cross between each other in our tanks or in the wild?
That's a good question. I mean, by definition, a species doesn't breed with another species. So if we have indeed been looking at 6 different species, by definition, they can't interbreed.
Okay. But like an Asellus with another Asellus.
Yes.
Still, yes, they could, or yes,
they're
they...
incompatible. They are incompatible if they are truly different species.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the things they did to test if it's a new species. Maybe would be one of the easiest ways to distinguish them.
I don't know, man. Like you said, these people need a job. Gotta find something to do.
Maybe.
So you take like the Procellus and the Asellus, and you could keep them together. There'd be no mixing.
As far as I can tell, no.
Yeah.
They have been in one jar, but I mean, how would I recognize a hybrid?
That's a good question.
I have no idea.
I haven't seen anything about hybrids or seen any reported either, so I think that they are pretty specific. At least, like you said, a lot of the species, if they're really different. But I think all the 6 that we showed tonight, I don't think any of them could cross with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're probably far enough apart genetically.
Putu.
What temperature? Yeah. Poodlebird asked, what temperature do you keep your fish rooms at? I assume your pods are all unheated. They are. But during the winter, I did have a heater in my biggest isopod tank. But it was for the plants, to be honest. Bought some plants,
Really? That's
tropical plants,
that's so funny.
and I thought they would appreciate the heat. By now I know they don't really need it, but
So you don't really
yeah,
care
you know
about
how
the
it goes.
isopods, but you do care about the plants. We see how it really is.
No, I know the isopods are hardy enough to get
Okay.
frozen and live. So
Okay.
I know I don't have to heat for the isopods.
However you want to spin it, man. I'm just saying. Just this, it's kind of how it looks. Um,
Wow.
Imprint after asked, do planaria eat the isopods?
I have observed planaria eating scuds,
Really?
but I think um, I haven't observed. Yeah, well, I think it needs a specific set. Like planaria aren't very quick moving. They are, um, yeah, they won't jump on a isopod if the isopod can help it.
Right.
So if the isopod is healthy and stuff, I don't think a planaria stands a good chance. Having said that, both of these, yeah, well, let's just make it brief and say I don't know what happens in the dark. I can just observe when the light is on.
Right.
And I think in the dark is when planaria really shine and really, yeah, they. I can see them. I can imagine. I can't see it, but I can imagine them like feeding on baby isopods in the dark.
Definitely. Now, I've definitely had a big planaria population and a productive isopod population at the same time. So I do agree. Like, I don't think
Yes.
they predate on them to a significant degree.
Yeah, I never removed any planaria from any of my jars, and
Yeah.
not even the leeches
And every time
and the
I've
hydra and stuff. So I keep all of my predators in there, and
well, well,
the
I can,
isopods. At least
I
the
stay with the
isopods are
predators.
have
Okay,
never
buddy. Hold
been.
up.
No, they have never been extinguished. They have never been.
Wow.
The isopod population never crashed in a tank with predators.
Okay. Okay.
If an isopod population crashed, for me, it always was linked to more like temperature, oxygen, stuff like that.
Right. Well, you know, it's good to know that the predators are not too dangerous. Every time I've caught isopods, there's always planaria and scuds with them. Every single time. Every single time. So
Yeah, I mean, they are very
yeah.
common animals in streams, and all three of them tolerate a pretty wide array of conditions.
Putu said, I have a Lursius tub with 3 different strains. I will let you know if any noticeable hybrids appear. Hybrid vigor or one strain will eventually overtake the others. We gotta.
How do you define strain?
I think just a different. She's bought them from 3 different people. Okay, Conrad in
Okay,
my
so they're
tanks and POP.
probably different species. Then they shouldn't mix.
I guess I agree.
In
Willow
theory, they
Willow
shouldn't.
Wolf. I can't even read, man. Willow Wolf Warrior said, I just introduced isopods to their own tank, and after a few days, they disappear. Are they just that good with hiding? Question mark.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
In short, yes.
What about in long?
Well, in long, you have to create the conditions for them to multiply to a degree where they simply can't stay all in hiding because the hidey holes are all taken.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I think that it's like one, their breeding behaviors a lot of them involve being hidden at some point. And, you know, two, it's like you said, yes, they're that good at hiding, and you just need higher numbers. So it's like, if you just introduce them, every factor is leading towards maybe not seeing them all the time. But it really depends on the setup.
It really depends, yeah. I mean, their behavior is pretty complex. They do react to environmental factors, presence of fish or something like that
Yeah.
can make them way more hidey than no fish. So if you just introduce them to a new tank, give them some time
Yeah.
and some food.
100%. I do think that they don't get enough credit for, like you said, they do have complex behaviors, and that's the one reason why when I did have a hydra problem, I got rid of them, because like my isopods were out and about all the time, and I got a bunch of hydra, and suddenly it was like I didn't have any isopods, even though there was like hundreds of them in there, you know. And then once I got rid of the hydra, it was suddenly beautiful again.
You still have my feed on. Okay, yeah. It's just an old clip.
Okay, yeah, I just had, you know, people can see the green flashing when you talk.
People can see the screen frame when I talk. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good.
Something.
All right.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
think we can wrap this up soon. Eh?
Yeah, yeah. I feel good.
Any more questions?
Damn, man, you're like, yo, let me get out of here, bro. Come on.
No, it's like 20 past midnight here,
Oh my gosh.
and it's a weekday, so
Oh my god. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come. Do you sell isopods with the tanks with hydra and planaria tanks? I do not sell isopods from tanks heavily infested with those things, no. But I mean, hydra and planaria are in every aquarium unless you've made it toxic for them to live in it. You just don't see them, but they're, trust me, they're there.
yeah,
They're there.
probably somewhere
Somewhere
in
in
the
there.
floating plants.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the hydra, I was reading one thing. Their eggs can even be in like dust particles. So
Yeah, Hydra, crazy.
yeah. So, but yeah, no, I really appreciate
Listen.
you taking the time, like a weekday on midnight, like time difference. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
You know,
No, yet, but
you know, so
I
many
had
big
fun.
words. Like, we'd have to have like an 8 hour stream for me to even get deep into really all the different stuff, you know. Because every few seconds you just drop a word I don't like, neophyte or something. I'm just
You
like,
have
bro.
to Google. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay,
I
sorry.
can only Google in so many words. What if I can't spell it? Like
You
that
have
book
to
that
get
book
an
title.
AI with speak recognition or something that constantly translates all the big words.
Okay, fine. I'll work on
No,
that.
we're joking. I propose we do this again someday, maybe on my channel, maybe with another topic like video gear or
Yeah, sure.
something or other.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me. We had some great fun,
of course.
and yeah, I'll leave you the last word.
Okay, I'll just say, guys, go check out Matt's channel. Let's scope it out. Go subscribe. Catch the lives. Enjoy the great footage. Show your appreciation. I'm just very grateful that you took the time to do this. And how many people are gonna do live microscopy like this, and then you see six, we'll say 5.5 species of
Nah,
aquatic
six. We saw six.
isopods. Yeah, yeah, 6 species of aquatic isopods. This is something very unique. So thank you for helping me do this.
And by the way, just to let people know, most of the videos, the regular videos on my channel, all of the regular videos on my channel are commented with an AI voice that I was fairly happy with at the time. And I have actually already uploaded another video it's not public yet because I used my microphone and my own voice, and I don't like my voice.
I see.
It's terrible, and
What?
that's why it didn't go public yet.
I say go. We've been
Yeah,
all
the
listening to
recording and
your
stuff.
voice. We've been listening to your voice this
And
whole
this
time. No
this this
complaints.
video is on yeah, but the recording is horrible. Like I added some stuff later, and the sound quality is way different from the first recording, so it
Okay.
sticks out like a sore thumb, and I can't bring myself to publish it. But it's on Isopod reproduction, so if
Oh.
someday
Oh.
I go and publish that, there would be some nice footage of pregnant isopods and
You
stuff.
definitely got to
I call
publish
it
that,
pregnant.
man.
Gravid.
I can't believe
Gravid.
you just slipped up like that. You were doing so well with the vocabulary. You called them pregnant isopods. Now we're
I
gonna
call
laugh
them
you off.
pregnant
No, we're gonna
isopods.
laugh you off the stream now. We thought you were a scientist,
I know it's
bioengineer.
called gravid. People don't know what it means. No, but it's the same thing as I mean isopod reproduction. It's the same as in humans. They need to take their pants off. That's the first thing.
I didn't think about it like that.
They have their babies in the belly,
Okay.
and after a
Okay.
while they come out.
It's basically the
It's uh,
same.
it's basically the same thing.
Well, you definitely see now. I
Just
can
that they
definitely
make
tell
more
it's
babies.
midnight. Now I could definitely tell it's midnight. What you got going on over there?
No, you
The
mean
chat likes
I
that.
I mean
The chat likes it a little bit too much, man. Keep keep the isopod breeding video private. I don't think the world society isn't ready.
society isn't ready. Okay, so see you next time. See you on the Discord. Check out the Discords
Yep,
and the channels and stuff.
of course. Take it
And
easy,
yeah,
man. Take it easy.
see you next time.
Everyone say goodbye. Bye to let's scope it in the chat. Give some appreciation.
No, I don't need appreciation.
Oh my gosh, you're
Uh,
supposed to leave
I
so I can
appreciate
say
all of you for
the nice
watching.
things. Oh my gosh. All right, get some rest, man. I appreciate it.
Will do.
All right, I exited the call, so now we can speak nicely. I can't get any protests going on here. But yeah, that was fantastic. I hope everyone enjoyed that. If you're watching live, if you're watching later, if we do something like this again, I'll try and improve the technology side of things. I think it went pretty well though. Um, been wanting to talk to that dude for a while. I'm sure you guys can tell. Very knowledgeable engineer. What did he say? He said it was a horticultural engineer. So not many people build a 90-pound robot to film things in high quality in a jar, and then not many people are willing to talk about it on a weekday, across time zones, all about aquatic isopods. So definitely big thank you. Let's scope it out. Please go show some love to them. And I'm sure if you comment any questions, if you caught this on the replay, um, I'll try and spin back, or I'm sure if Matt knows the answer, he'll spin back and answer for you. So, if you are here live, though, you got the real experience. I'm just saying. Only pods. Yeah, no, he's going to have to release that video for sure. For sure. But we just be mature about it? That's all I'm asking. And Brandon, thank you. Brandon put the link in there, and let's go without. Thanks, guys. I had a great time. So yeah, no, it's fantastic. You know me. Normally, I would just be live for another 2 hours, but I actually do have to go get some work done. I'm coming up on some deadlines, but I had to make sure that this happened. So, Isopod agenda. It's been on the schedule. I was gonna push it back another time. And I think Thursday I should be live again. So let me just scroll through, see if I missed anything up there. No, I think we're good. Any last questions, comments, or concerns? Had a decent amount of questions. Thank you for that. Again, if you're on the replay, just comment. No, Branton, thank you, Branton. I owe you $2.50, as you reminded me. And thank you very much to Jern for the super chat. Now, I will go through the list of people that I have right here. So shout out to Jody P, of course, coming through as always. Hope the fish and stuff make it there safely. I think you actually sent me some stuff you shouldn't have, but I'm looking forward to swapping some snails and stuff with you. Branton, of course, thank you for coming through, always posting the links. Appreciate it. SVC, my guy. Appreciate you stopping by. Armadillo Lizard, thank you very much for stopping by. Steve Adams, Poo2 Bird, our head mod in chief. Bob Bravo, Fish Fam Link, always coming through, keeping it alive in the chat. Trippy Hippie, now that is a name. Christopher Junkin, thank you. Always holding it down in the chat. Featherfin Films, really appreciate you stopping by. Of course, you would notice the little crawling mites in the water. Of course, a couple of fish. Even managed to drop some emoji spam in this chat. Appreciate you. I'll have to do the Discord announcement for the lives. You're right about that. Asellus Aquatics stopped by just to say bugs. I'll take it. Nino, got the orders of the shiners coming in, waiting for the black aquapods to drop. We're excited to see you breed all those fish, man. Can't wait. Cecil Mayberry, hello. Thank you for stopping by. Norfolk Southern Ponds. There's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, all the southern ponds. Appreciate you bringing all of those leaders over to the chat. And Imprint After posting some questions about Polarian stuff. Hope we got that answered for you, as well as Willow Wolf Warrior. Hope your pods come out soon, but they definitely are that good at hiding. Jody P said, Nick, I'm sending your snails tomorrow. Okay, I can't wait. I want you to keep it only as I can bring it up again. See, some people want you to be indebted to them so they can hold it over you. You're sick. You're a sick man, Brenton. SVC said, great stream, lots of great info, and awesome to see such detailed videos of isopods. I appreciate that. That's what I was hoping to deliver, good information and good footage. So hopefully everyone got that. If you just got isopods, if you're into them, if you can't get them but you just want to see more of them, I hope that this video does all those things for you. If your isopods are hiding and you can't see your own, you can live vicariously through us, I guess. Yeah, so with that, I do gotta go get back into things, get back to work, but it was really great talking with Let's Scope It Out and all of you. So with that, streaming from the fish room, once again, microphone in hand, that is in my tanks. Out.